you've conducted around 4 hearings so far on
Yes.
the use of the confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President. What have been the major revelations so far based on your hearings?
Well, there are several revelations. Our first revelation was Yusek Mercado, Gloria Mercado, where she testified that she received a certain amount of money, or 50,000, 9 envelopes for 9 months, starting from February to September. So,
And that was for herself.
for herself. When we asked her what was the purpose of that money, she said maybe because of her position as HOPE, or head of procurement entity.
But where was the envelope with the money coming from?
According to her, it was the HEA of the Vice President, si Attorney or ASEC Sunshine Fajarda, who was giving her the money. So every time the ASEC Fajarda would call her dun sa office nila, sa Office of the Vice President, Office of the Secretary to the DepEd, at that was the time, on a monthly basis, she would be receiving 50,000 from
Did she
Fajarda.
bother to ask what it was for?
Well, according to her, it was a gift from the Vice President.
As a gift, okay. But there should be, what would be wrong with that if it were a gift?
Well, in the first
Kung
place,
wala namang hinihingi, may hinihingi bang kapalit?
initially, that was our question. Sabi namin sa kanya, since when you were appointed as USEC? I think even before that, but when the time that she was appointed as HOPE, that was the time she received this.
For the this is for the DepEd, head
DepEd.
of the procuring
Yes,
entity.
yes.
She was the head of the procuring entity for DepEd. But then we're talking about the confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President.
Now,
so how is that related? Because you're investigating
Yes.
the use of OVP confidential
Yes.
funds.
Well, apparently, we have 3 people who already admitted receiving monthly gift from the Office of the Secretary. Apparently, si Yusek Mercado, si Attorney Osias, who happens to be the head of the BAC of Bids and Awards, and the latest is Ma'am Catalan, the chief accountant,
And these are all from the Department of
Education. Now,
So I guess I go back to the question, how is this related to the confidential funds of
yes,
the
that
Office
was
of the
the
Vice
question of
President?
Ma'am Catalan to Ma'am Fajarda, Sunshine Fajarda. So sabi niya, Ma'am, saan po ba ito galing? Galing po ba ito sa confidential fund? Although it was denied by Ma'am Fajarda, no, it was not, it did not come from the confidential fund. But apparently, she started receiving it from the time when confidential fund was cashed out or was released. That was in February 2023. And that, I would say, payola stopped sometime in September. And that was the last tranche of confidential fund. Because during the last quarter of 2023, DepEd and OVP did not receive any confidential fund at all.
But what is the implication of that? Why would there be money coming in from the Office of the Vice President to the Department of Education staff?
Assuming for the sake of argument that it came from confidential fund, no, what is wrong with that? Well, confidential fund, that is technical malversation. Why? Because confidential fund is supposed to be used for intelligence gathering, not for allowance or bonuses of staff or employees. No matter how noble the intention is, hindi naman yun ang purpose ng confidential fund eh. Now, secondly, we asked her if there is an item in their budget Dahil meron po yung budget na sinusumite where this money coming from. So sinabi naman niya, it is not definitely bonus, hindi yan galing sa PS or personal services. So ang ina-assume niya from the personal money of VP Sara. So it was pointed out by Congresswoman Luistro that a gift received by any government employee is anti-graft.
Even if it's a personal expense. Let's say, because so far there's no link
Yes,
that we're
there's no link
establishing
yet.
as to where the money came from.
Yes.
So if it's a personal gift from someone who also works in government with you and there's no explicit favor being asked for, is that still wrong?
Well, that is not how we see it. The way we see it, the gift is because of their position. Because not everyone in DepEd is receiving that gift.
Pero may
We
sinabi ba
ask-
silang binigay silang kapalit? Like, were they asked to award something or a contract?
Well, that's why we are inviting personalities like Attorney Sunshine Fajarda to shed light on this and to know where this funding really, or where they are getting this fund.